let me explain you why you don't want to care. And this is not a negative thing. This is not an irresponsible thing to do. Let me explain what I mean by that. And the first level, the reason why I'm using this expression is because it's colloquial and people understand. That's the way you will express certain attitude that I want to convey to you, that it can tremendously improve the quality of your life. Let's, for example, look at the case of someone who is famous or someone you admire, someone who is accomplished, successful in society. How do they look? For example, you will see, let's say, someone who's performing, a famous musician. You will see them the night before the show. Do you think they will be like, I think I cannot make it. I'm nervous. No, they don't. You will be talking to them and you will say, wow, it's amazing that tomorrow you're going to be in front of thousands of people performing or doing something. And you still seem to have fine. Like seems like you're not caring. You see why I'm using this expression? Because that's what people say. Well, it seemed that the guy didn't care. And then just went there and did their thing and they were, accomplished. And many people found that was impressive. So it's not a coincidence. It's not that they are more confident. Well, they certainly are more confident. But there is a negative side. It's something they are not doing. It's not that they are building up a confidence and looking in the mirror and saying, I'm the best in the world. No, that's not the way. The important thing to notice in here is what they are not doing. So they're not caring too much. And let me give you another example. Think about someone you find they are attractive. I don't know, maybe a celebrity or a model or someone someone for some reason you find that person attractive. If you had to check, probably there are many different reasons why you find that person attractive, but one of them would be that they seem not to care so much. Like they don't need you. That makes it kind of interesting, right? You see where I'm going with not caring? I don't mean to be irresponsible. I don't mean to be not sensitive. I don't mean to not to do what you have to do. I'm talking about the tendencies to obsess of what we think it is important. So someone would, if you think, for example, what is important to you, maybe you're studying and you have exams, people will just go crazy because you start thinking, what happens if I cannot do it? What happens if I forget stuff? What happens in the moment I cannot? Same thing, obviously, for people who have to perform, but you can extend this to anything you care. There's an example to this that I normally use, which is if I tell you, imagine that you have to walk on a board in front of you and the board is like 1 meter wide. It's kind of wide. Let's say it's something very comfortable. Put it on the floor. It's like a rock. You can definitely confidently walk on that rock, right? But what happens if we bring that into the top of the building? The same distance, the same apparent stability and comfortability, and yet we just panic. You see where I'm going? It is the context that we think about that thing that you're about to do, that it really actually is turning everything into a disaster. And we start feeling anxiety. We start freezing. We start overreacting emotionally. Maybe you have anger. Whatever it is, just think about the context. You think about the things that you have to be believing for you to feel so tense. Because you have to walk the board in this analogy. So I don't know, maybe you have to ask someone out, or maybe you had to go for getting a new job, or maybe you want to, whatever it is that you want to do. The problem when you consider it too important is that you will automatically freeze yourself into it. You see where I'm going? So what I'm suggesting you is to be very careful to understand what is your mindset, what is your attitude towards what you're doing, because that in this way you can define that how the context is going to affect what you're doing. So for example, you could talk someone into being afraid of walking the rock and they won't. Or you could get someone on the top of the building with the same board, the same distance, and they will feel maybe very confident if you will get them to think that nothing's going to happen, that there is a net down there and there's no problem. Maybe they just find, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. You see how important is your attitude towards things. So caring too much is a huge problem, especially when your mind goes restless and uncontrolled. And think about all the things that you care so much, that you try so hard. Just try to notice to which extent actually worrying too much is actually causing you not to perform and not to do the things in the way that you could. You see where I'm going? Think about all that stuff you care so much and how you become tense around it. So, what is not caring in this context? Again, I'm not saying don't care about your health. I'm not saying don't care about other people. I'm not saying don't care about your work and just don't go to your work. Or I'm not talking about not caring in this sense. I'm talking about being ultimately relaxed. And you would say, yeah, but if you don't care, you won't do anything. No, that's not true. That's what your mind tells you. You don't need to worry so much. And you say, what will happen? Well, what if? You've been probably through worst already. So it's not that bad in the end. It's just that we are afraid because we think too much, because our mind is out of control. So, and our mind is basically all the time telling us, why should we be worried and panicking and having anxiety? That's why our mind is just all the time like a voice in there telling you, you're not good enough. You cannot do this. What happens if you cannot make it? What happens? You see how we are self-sabotaging ourselves. And in this context, thinking towards not caring is a positive attitude. So if we would just relax, and instead of just being all the time thinking, what happened if I am not able to make it? What happened if things go wrong? Instead of thinking all that, that's when it makes you feel as if the board will be on the top of the building. What happens if you just understand, okay, I just need to walk the board, whatever is the task that you have to do? Just think about, okay, just focus on the thing that you're doing. And you're going to notice that it's actually many times pretty straightforward. You just have to go out and let's say that person that you find very impressive, ask them out. It seems the most scary thing in the world, but it's just because you're just panicking about what could happen. But the fact itself is just like, just go there and ask that person to go out. If you wouldn't care about that person, if you wouldn't mind, you would just do it. What's the problem? But we are afraid and we think. So it is very positive to stop caring so much. And again, I'm not talking about insensitive. I'm not talking about taking responsibilities. I'm talking about the emotional drama we make in our heads to give reasons why not to do important stuff because it's important and we panic. Well, just take it easy. Don't care so much. And now let me give you a bit of a deeper understanding on what I mean by not caring. What I mean by not caring, I mean eliminating for your internal activity all the tasks your mind is performing that are unnecessary to perform that activity. So in the case, again, going back to the example of someone just going and out, asking out for a date, someone you really, really like, and how it just gets you nervous. Well, it gets you nervous because your mind, it is thinking, even when you don't notice, it is feeling as if you're going to die if it doesn't work. Like your whole life will just break into pieces. But that is like having a TV, an illusion, like your imagination going on, telling you about reality and telling you who you are and telling you what the future is going to be. And this is all wrong. So this channel has one of the main purposes is the promotion of meditation and how that's a great thing. And meditation in this context would be not to do something you don't really need to do to perform the activity, which in the case of someone asking out someone else would be really to just walk there, say the words, and just go along with it. Just do it from a nice place. Just enjoy it. And what is normally happen is that your mind goes crazy. And if your mind goes crazy, your body will also start, like, maybe your hands sweating or having a panic attack. And this is the part which meditation will be incredibly useful, because what you do when you sit to meditate is to learn to let go of all this unnecessary stuff. Meditation is a permission for you to sit for a few minutes and don't do anything that is necessary. You take a break from your life. You take a break from everything. And you experience most of the time that there's a lot of activity that you didn't choose to have, and your mind goes nuts. Well, if you practice that consistently, you will notice that at some point you're able just to sit and your mind goes empty. Like there is just a space, there is just aliveness, there is just there is just that we're actually looking for. And when you practice that on a daily basis, then you will find yourself in your daily life not caring so much that you will make a problem from anything, even from important stuff. I mean, you have to, I don't know, let me pull something out of my head, something that is dependent, that is a meeting that will depend, your job will depend on it. So many times we're just panicking, but we are panicking because our mind is imagining you will never find another job, and this is going to be a bad thing. Everybody's going to laugh on you, and no one's going to like you, and people are going to lose respect out of you, and people are going to find that you are a failure. I don't know, whatever is the kind of line of thoughts we usually have, everybody has. When you're facing something that you're using your mind unnecessarily. So a way to, when you nurture meditation, like sitting, and you, to some extent, you're able to render all this background noise of beliefs or your past or what you think or what you worry. When you, at some point, you learn that that's an activity you are doing in. You may at first that you have no control over it, but let me tell you that that's really not the case. You actually can do a lot to let go of that. You can play many games that where meditation will tell you, just pay attention to this, pay attention to your breath, pay attention to what's happening. And by doing that, you will just get in contact with something more essential to this moment. And this is a way of explaining how to let go of your mind, how to let go of this restless, insecure part of ourselves that is literally ruining our life experience with too much worry, with sadness, with frustration, with procrastination. And after you meditate, let's say, you dissolve this unnecessary mental, then you're more awake. Your senses are more awake. You're more here now. Suddenly you're not worrying. You're not panicking. And that, when you do that in action, that's meditation in action. It's not random. And it's not based on performance. Meaning that, going back to the example I did before, you may go and talk to that person, ask that person out. That person may say no, or say, get out. But it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. The freedom that you are going to experience, the mastery over yourself that you're going to experience, is going to be way more, substantially more powerful than the fact if that person did that, or the fact that that meeting on which your job depends really goes this way, this and other. I know it feels in the moment that, oh yeah, you don't understand how many problems I'm going to have if this doesn't work. Well, I'm talking about the big picture. I'm talking about the real deal. I'm talking the long-term thing. And the long-term thing, many things that seem scary at first, over time you realize they were necessary for you to notice and understand many things. So it's all about nurturing. And you say, okay, how you do that? Well, what you don't do, actually, that will be the question. It's not caring too much. Caring in the sense of worrying. Caring in the sense of overdoing. Being desperate. hopefully this makes sense and it's a very practical thing to think together today. And I hope you can just translate, if this makes sense to you, into that things, that activities, that relationships, that thing that you care too much, and that you know you're caring too much, you're worrying too much. It's unnecessary. It's not helping. Caring too much because I care, because no, there are many things you simply cannot do anything about it. And that's the way we ruin our life. We just make us feel responsible for things that we are not. Make us seem too sensitive to things that are just our own imagination. And that's how we panic. That's why someone will have a panic attack. And let me close this down to something personal, maybe that's of help too. I used to, when I was, 25 years ago or something like that, I used to have panic attacks. Like I was seriously, I don't know. You know how it is. If you had it, it's just like, you don't know why. Things trigger you and you just feel like you're going to die. And your body reacts in a way that you cannot carry on with normal activities. And well, by means of what I was just trying to express in this video, that is an experience that I don't know what it means right now. Just so many things happen in this last 25 years, and way more profound or threatening things, psychological and even physical, actually. And nothing like that has ever happened. As I'm doing this regular cleaning, I sit to meditate 3 times a day for many years now. And that's like it's a process of honesty. It's a process of deepening in your own certainty. It's like cleaning up your mind from unnecessary stuff. And honestly, right now, I cannot imagine a single situation that would make me lose the common sense, the context, and react properly to the situation. I'm talking emotionally. I may perform like random. I may not even know what I'm doing, but I wouldn't panic. I wouldn't disconnect. I wouldn't react out of control. I feel the pressure, so I have to pay attention. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say that nothing ever creates an impact on my mind and body. But it never goes to the level that I'm out of control. And this is a very positive thing, because you can enjoy your life more. You enjoy just breathing, just being here. It is fulfilling because I'm just not thinking about so many things that I don't need to think. And I do whatever I have to do. I have a family. I have a lot of things that I'm a very responsible and active member of society, let's say. And I can tell you that big part of this flow that I have, it is due to just let go of unnecessary mental processes. Let go of the caring too much, and just bring it just about the necessary level for you to perform the action that you have to perform. And that's the only way, by emptying your mind, by emptying yourself from your past, you will find more fulfillment. And as I said before, the meeting maybe doesn't go right. The person may not say yes, but you never know if that's a positive thing on the long run. So just do what you have to do. By not caring, again, I mean not to worry, not to start thinking things are going to go wrong and my life is going to go, everything's going to be a disaster if I don't do this in this way. No, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know why that's happening in the first place. I hope this makes sense to you. And I hope you go around your day worrying less. Maybe just enough to do the thing, but not so much that you wouldn't enjoy doing the thing. Just enjoying being a kid and living life like, oh, this happens, oh, that happens. You can live free. You can live in a state of permanent enjoyment, even when uncomfortable things happen. Yeah, well, the same way that you could enjoy going for a run at 6 a.m. when it's raining. You can enjoy that, but you have to build up into that. So in the same way, I'm not saying that there's not going to come difficult times, but if you nurture the emptiness in your mind, you become essential with being, with here and now. You will find that you even get to enjoy these moments as if it was a video game, as if it was a movie. As much as they may look intense, you're still just there. Wow, this, wow, that. Let's focus. Let's go there. Let's do that. But there's a background of enjoyment. There's a background of, so be it, whatever it is, just do your best and you let it happen.